election around the corner, and this is our election update. Joining me today, Aditya Menon of the Quint, who's here every week. Thank you, Aditya. Piyush Rae, Associate Editor of the Quint, and we also have Sharat Pradhan joining us as well. Here's the interesting thing, though. हमने सोचा हम उत्तर प्रदेश के बारे में बात करेंगे, but Himachal Pradesh has suddenly become more interesting. So we're actually going to start. You can never predict politics, really. We're going to start talking about Himachal Pradesh. Quick overview for our audience as to what is happening in Himachal Pradesh. Congress has suffered an upset in the Rajya Sabha elections. It was an election that they should have won straight up, but it turns out they didn't. The Congress candidate, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, should have gotten 40 votes out of 68. The BJP had 25, but it turns out when the votes were counted, they were both tied at 34. The BJP candidate, Harsh Mahajan, then was declared a winner by draw of lots. After that, the chief minister, remember Congress, Himachal Pradesh is one of 3 states for the Congress. The chief minister said that his MLAs have been kidnapped by the Haryana police. And that allegation was made just hours after the Rajya Sabha seat polling ended. And then there was a scramble to find out where these MLAs had gone. The Congress High Command, in this case, Mallikarjun Kharge, I am referring to, sent in Bhupendra Singh Hooda and DK Shivkumar to find these 6 MLAs and then engage with them. Apparently, they are unhappy with the Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu and the way he's, running his state, and they want to change there. In the meantime, the BJP leaders from the assembly have gone in to meet the governor. There's some buzz about a no confidence motion, and we're going to ask Aditya where the numbers stand at this point. Does this suggest the Congress is losing out the numbers or they don't have the numbers? But what has happened now is that the chief minister has come out and said that he's not resigning. He's going to fight. He's a warrior, which suggests that all is not lost for the Congress. In the meantime, the MLAs seem to have spent the night in a hotel in Panchkula and then were airlifted by helicopter out of there. One of them, Ravi Thakur, met with the press and he said, "Hum ghumne aaye hain. We can go wherever we want. We have not been kidnapped." Now, this is where it stands at this point. In the meantime, in the assembly, 15 BJP MLAs were suspended. And, there's some of them were apparently, allegedly misbehaving with the marshals at the assembly. That's where we are right now. We're going to first find out, Aditya, is the Congress likely to lose Himachal Pradesh? I'm sorry. Are they likely to lose Himachal Pradesh?
As the numbers stand today, based on what the way MLAs voted in the Rajya Sabha election, Congress is as of now safe because BJP is at 25 seats. There are 3 MLAs and the Congress is at 40. Now, even if one discounts all the 6 MLAs and the 3 independents, it still puts BJP at around 34. And the Congress is also at 34. Now the thing is, the MLAs, if they move away from the Congress, they invite the anti-defection law. So they can cross-vote in a Rajya Sabha election, but they can't cross-vote in a no-confidence motion. So for the Congress government to fall, as many as 13 MLAs would have to resign. The way it happened in Madhya Pradesh and Karnataka in 2019. So based on the way they voted in the elections, 13 MLAs have yet not gone rogue. So unless there is a large-scale rebellion led by Pratibha Singh and Vikramaditya Singh, the wife and son of former Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh, unless something as dramatic as that happens, the Congress government is probably safe for now. I think what is slightly more dicey for the Congress is the Chief Minister's position, because there does seem to be considerable opposition to Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu, especially from the Pratibha Singh, Vikramaditya Singh camp. So how Bhupendra Singh Hooda and DK Shivkumar, the central observers, manage to sort of quell the rebellion in the party remains to be seen, and whether they are able to do it while Sukhu is still CM, or whether they'll be forced to have a change of guard in Himachal Pradesh.
Is there likely to be a no confidence motion though?
So the BJP has said that they want to go ahead with the no confidence motion, and if the BJP feels that they can get more MLAs to switch sides, or if there is chance of the Veerbhadra Singh family completely rebelling against the Congress. Now, Vikramaditya Singh, who was a prominent minister in Sukhwinder Sukhu's government, has also resigned. So there is some power play happening in Veerbhadra Singh's family as well. So if the BJP feels there is scope for some kind of an adjustment with Vikramaditya Singh and Pratibha Singh, then probably they might go ahead with the no confidence motion. If not, then probably the Congress government may survive for now.
So the Vikramaditya Singh, is he likely to pull away just his and his mother's seats, or will there be more MLAs that follow him?
I don't think it will serve much purpose for them if it's only the two of them. Also, because they have a very sizable number of loyalists, especially in the Shimla and Mandi districts, the Shimla, Sirmaur, Mandi, that region of Himachal Pradesh, which is the old bastion of Veerbhadra Singh. Pratibha Singh is the member of parliament from Mandi, which includes a lot of segments from Shimla district. So that is their area of influence. So many of the MLAs, they owe allegiance to Veerbhadra Singh. They owe their victory to Veerbhadra Singh and their family. So yeah, if they shift, they will shift with a number of MLAs. It won't be just the two of them.
Well, very interesting though developments. We've had the Chief Minister Sukhu saying that he's a warrior, that he's going to continue to fight. Now, does this mean that he's now he's done a head count and he's realized he's not in trouble, or the Congress knows something we don't know?
I think is a little bit of grandstanding also on part of Mr. Sukhu, because he also said that a number of BJP MLAs were in touch with him. So if BJP MLAs were in touch with him and if he had the numbers, the Rajya Sabha fiasco wouldn't have happened. Clearly, Mr. Sukhu is not in control. The explanation that six Congress MLAs were kidnapped by either the Haryana police or the CRPF. Now, Mr. Sukhu is the Home Minister of Himachal. The police falls under Mr. Sukhu. If this could happen to MLAs who apparently were with him for breakfast just before the election, then there's clearly something wrong, and he's clearly not entirely in control of the government and the party. So one probably should take his claims with a little pinch of salt as far as his control over the government is concerned. But probably, I think there may be enough numbers for the government to survive, and I think that's where his confidence seems to be stemming from.
I'm going to ask you for a slightly wider view, right? Because this is now week 3 we're talking, and every week we're talking about a different state. There was Nitish Kumar in Bihar, then there was Hemant Soren in Jharkhand. Now we're talking about Himachal. So a different opposition state is in trouble every week. Now, if in the very least this would mean that the Congress is constantly distracted by holding on, or the opposition is constantly distracted by holding on to its state governments. And so will barely be allowed the time right now to focus on its national campaign. Is this part of the BJP strategy, you think?
Absolutely. I think the BJP wants that the opposition is constantly playing catch up and opposition is constantly on firefighting mode. That they neither have the time nor the energy to sort of put up a strong narrative and a strong challenge to the BJP nationally. So we might, I think, no one expected Himachal Pradesh with a very comfortable Congress majority. They have 40 out of 68 MLAs. Hardly anyone expected that this state could even go the wrong way for the opposition. And this is, one must emphasize that this is the only state outside of South India where the Congress has a solo government. So, I mean, if the BJP can pull it off here, they can pull it off probably anywhere. We saw what happened. I mean, there was an instability in Jharkhand, as you mentioned, Bihar. So, I think the opposition will continue to firefight if in this manner.
So it seems fairly grim, like we were talking about. Congress only has 3 states. If it gets knocked down to 2 states, that puts it on par with the Aam Aadmi Party nationally, because then the BJP is the biggest party, and after that, in second, is the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, with 2 states each. So really, difficult days for the Congress party. And we're going to come back to that. But, I also want to now talk about Uttar Pradesh, because while there has been a series of bad news for the India bloc and the Congress party, Uttar Pradesh may be a glimmer of hope, because the SP and the Congress have had maybe conversations that seem to have worked out. Piyush Rae is here. Piyush, can you tell us what's happening in Uttar Pradesh from a Gadbandhan point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Samajwadi Party and Congress finally managed to strike a deal, and they have come to an understanding on at least 17 seats is what we are what we have learned so far. But then again, the biggest problem or the biggest challenge for the India Alliance would be the transfer of votes. because in 2017, again, like Samajwadi Party and Congress did come together for the assembly elections, and at that time, Congress contested on 100 seats. Could not do fairly decent in those elections, and SP and Congress, they called off the alliance. So right now, like, I'll stick my neck out and say that this is not a very comfortable alliance, is what I see from here. And there are a lot of misunderstandings that yet to be ironed out. Leaders from Senior leaders from both the parties, they need to sit together and chalk out these differences, and set aside these differences, and then they have to kind of go into the election as one formidable bloc, which is not happening right now. Like, we have been speaking to the cadres, the Congress cadre and the Samajwadi cadre in different regions, and now, like, their leaders have come to an understanding, but the cadre is yet to come to an understanding, is what I feel from ground.
Mr. Sharat Pradhan joining us as well.
I'm sorry for the delay.
No problem. Uttar Pradesh expert, but also I'll ask you about Himachal in a minute. Piyush Rae telling us that he believes that the understanding between the SP and the Congress is not entirely set in stone and not fully comfortable. Are you reading that as well from the ground?
Well, the manner in which the deal was finally struck, the kind of hiccups that it witnessed before that, it's bound to happen. It's too late in the day, but still they are doing it. But this is not the reason for what happened yesterday in the elections, Raj Sabha. I hope that is not what is being understood.
No, go ahead. Tell us what you understand on the ground.
Because what happened yesterday was not as if that Akhilesh Yadav said that, okay, these are the people, and they did not understand him, and because the alliance was not still crystallized, that is the reason why they voted cross voted. No, they struck a deal with the BJP. Obviously, they got tons of money for that, and that's the reason they did it. That nobody defects because of ideological reasons today, irrespective of party. And what happened? As a matter of fact, the moment Sanjay Seth, who's a big time builder, who was given the major push during Mulayam's time in UP, then subsequent, and Mulayam was the one who gave him the first maiden entry into the Raj Sabha. Then he switched sides the moment there was change of guards. So the moment Sanjay Seth's name cropped up as the 8th candidate of the BJP, there was reason for Akhilesh to believe that his third candidate would not get elected. It was very clear. And there would be, and the kind of, invariably in such positions, wherever any party puts up an extra candidate and the guy happens to be loaded with money, then you rest assured that he's the one who's going to get elected. Because money is what plays major role in all Raj Sabha elections. It's an unfortunate. The Raj Sabha, why it was constituted and it was known as the House of Elders, is now a house of a whole lot of manipulators. Less said the better. The kind of people who get in there by all the wrong means, by all the. So what I want to point out is, as a matter of fact, either Akhilesh was taken for a ride by his own uncle, Ram Gopal Yadav, because Ram Gopal Yadav is alleged to be an agent of Amit Shah. I'm saying it in as many words. And he is the one who is Akhilesh's friend, philosopher, guide, everything. And he calls the shots in the BJP. He was the one who was responsible for forging the divide between Akhilesh and his father, between Akhilesh and the other uncle, Shivpal Yadav. And once again, Akhilesh relies so blindly on him. And he's the one who's more interested in ensuring the victory of his son in the Lok Sabha election from Firozabad. He's always been a useless kind of MP from there. But there is a story which I read in the print or in the wire that this fellow met Amit Shah late in the night last week, and to strike a deal for his son's seat in the Lok Sabha, and he was ready to compromise for anything else. So I fail to understand if he's known as the Professor Saab, and I don't know what professor he was, but he's known as Professor Saab, and the intellectual and you know the think tank behind Akhilesh's party, and he's the one who obviously misguided Akhilesh, and Akhilesh was ready to, he eats out of his palm. So there was that very day he should have either withdrawn his own candidate, or he could have also spoken to Sanjay Seth, who has been definitely hugely obliged to Akhilesh for, on because of his company, his real estate company rose and shot into limelight during the Samajwadi Party rule. So you can understand what transpired. There's I am also told that this former Chief Secretary Alok Ranjan, who was fielded as the third candidate by the Samajwadi Party, was also taken for a ride by Akhilesh, because he was led to believe that they would still ensure his victory. But the allocation of votes, nobody votes independently. Everybody is told to who to vote for. He was allocated only 19 votes. Who the hell can win with 19 votes when the minimum of order was of about 32 seats, 32 votes? Jaya Bachchan was allocated 41 votes. The other fellow, Ramji Lal Suman, the 83-year-old Dalit who was fielded for other reasons, not because Akhilesh was keen on following this Dalit Pichra and Alpsankyak formula which he had floated and claimed that he would promote this and this will be his line of this is the kind of following that he's expecting. But so that fellow Ramji Lal Suman, I think he was allocated 39 votes, Jaya Bachchan 41, and Alok Ranjan 19 votes. No wonder he had suffered a devastating defeat. With that, Sanjay Seth, that builder, got 29. So there were a lot of things that were happening behind the scenes, and I am sure Akhilesh is politically naive, all right, but he's street smart enough to understand what was going on, and to have not withdrawn his candidate at that point of time shows that he didn't care for the candidate. He said, okay, it'll be his loss. But in the bargain, it has been a huge blow to the Samajwadi Party and in turn to the India Alliance. And the kind of things that Modi and Amit Shah are up to, I think there'll be more. We are witnessing this today again. What is happening. Himachal, we have seen. Today it's happening in Assam. So how the India Alliance is going to, because their biggest problem is in the India Alliance. They moved heaven and earth to see that India Alliance never stood up. Eventually, when it did, and
Mr. Pradhan, let me come back to you on that. I'm just going to get Piyush Rai's point of view on the Rajya Sabha election that happened yesterday and the surprise there for the Samajwadi Party, because we were talking about Himachal a little while ago before you walked in, but we didn't. Piyush, Mr. Pradhan spilling the beans on many things that happened behind the scenes, but the impact of that right now going forward into the main Lok Sabha election.
Well, it's certainly going to have. Sorry. So you're asking Piyush.
No.
Sorry.
Please go ahead.
No, please
so
go ahead,
I've always maintained that a party like BJP, which is not a party anymore. It's more like an election machine right now, and it has been for quite some time. So whenever they have seriously taken almost all elections from civic bodies to the recent Rajya Sabha elections, and they have almost put in every effort by hook or by crook. They have managed to put their way through inside more by crook in all these elections. So I'll here say that I'll take a sentence out of Pradhan sir's statement and I'll say that Akhilesh Yadav is a bit naive, and this is what even people in his backyard, like in Manpuri, they also claim the same thing, that someone like Shivpal or Ram Gopal, I'll not say Ram Gopal, but Shivpal has to take a lead in these things when it comes to shrewdness, through which parties contest elections. Now, like I'm sure, like a lot of people like me feel that Akhilesh Yadav was up for a surprise. He could not anticipate that BJP fielding its eighth candidate would walk that extra mile to kind of poach such leaders who have been with Samajwadi Party and especially with Akhilesh Yadav through thick and thin. We are talking about someone like Manoj Pandey. We are talking about someone like Abhay Singh, who have been like completely obligated to Samajwadi Party. And let me tell you, Abhay Singh was in jail when Mulayam Singh Yadav gave him ticket. He contested from there in 2012, and then he won from there. So if we talk about Sanjay Seth's obligation towards Samajwadi Party, the people who defected to BJP were almost of the same the same group. They were very close knit group. They're very close to Akhilesh Yadav, and they were the inner coterie of Akhilesh Yadav. They were and they were the ones who were talking against Swami Prasad Maurya. Also, they didn't want Swami Prasad Maurya in Samajwadi Party, and जैसे a lot of people say कि Akhilesh Yadav कान के बहुत कच्चे हैं, and these were the people who were advising Akhilesh Yadav on a lot of things, and he was paying heed to it. So if we call these are not the signs of a very clever leader, that you could not understand your inner coterie, and people like Manoj Pandey, people like Abhay Singh, and people like Viren Pratap Singh, they all defected to other party when you needed them the most. So I think here Samajwadi Party at this point of time, they need a shrewd manager like Shivpal Yadav to step up, and he needs to be given that opportunity so that he can take on a party like BJP, which is again, I'll say the same thing, which is always in election mode, and this is the need of the hour for Samajwadi Party.
Yeah, like for example, Himachal, like Aditya was saying, with that comfortable majority that the Congress had, they wouldn't have been watching their back that much on Himachal. This obviously came as a massive surprise that even that government could likely be in trouble. We have a question from Babu Basa who says, Sharatji, any impact on the latest paper leak fiasco on the Lok Sabha elections? The youth is certainly appearing to be riled up, and we've seen those protests happen recently in Lucknow over the paper leak. It turned into a protest demanding employment. How much of that is really on the ground, and how much of it will impact in any election?
Well, I think it would, provided the opposition rises to the occasion, takes that to the people and keeps reminding them, because these are things which lose their sheen the moment with the passage of time. So it is unfortunately the opposition in UP is not really grounded. That is the whole problem, and they don't believe in. Otherwise this kind of a fiasco wouldn't have occurred. So if they really, opposition gets on its feet and does a lot of footwork, then, and goes to the people, keeps telling them that this is what, because ultimately, those are the people who are those people who are protesting. They are the ones who are directly affected by it. But somebody has to spread the word around. You see, this is what is happening. It is being systematically leaked, and unemployment is terribly on the rise. The state in UP, contrary to the government's claims that they have generated, I don't know how many crores employment, but fact of the matter is that today a lot of youth from UP is going to Israel. They have set up in a government training institute. They have set up a kind of a selection center where the UP government is facilitating selection of people to go to Israel in the war zone. And they openly say that we are not getting jobs here, so we are ready to go anywhere, even risk our lives. So that is the state. And in this situation, this kind of paper leak happens, the youth can really be mobilized. If there was a party like the BJP which had to do this, they would have done by now. The whole social media, in schools, colleges, everywhere, they would have really created a ruckus. That, look here, this is what is happening. But I don't see that kind of a thing happening here, because everybody is busy in his own day. The tragedy, I think, today is that the opposition, BJP, is bound to do anything immoral, illegal to ride on to power. But the opposition is still not has failed to rise to the occasion completely. Can you imagine Akhilesh Yadav? Hardly even till this day, I don't know whether after this jolt he is going to get into the act. But look at Rahul Gandhi; he has time to go to Cambridge. So they have in Hindi there is a kahavat ki कुल्हाड़ी पे कुल्हाड़ी पे पैर मारा यहाँ पे कुल्हाड़ी पे पैर मारते हैं कुल्हाड़ी पैर पे नहीं मारते. That is the tragedy of the opposition, and we are suffering because of the weakness of the opposition, and even on this issue also, because there are a lot of issues related to the youth which can be picked up for the election campaign, but so
Aditya?
I wanted to in fact take that question to Piyush Rai as well, because Piyush, you have extensively covered the paper leak issue and you also interviewed the Israel job seekers. So, how much is the angst regarding jobs, and is it an election issue at all?
I'll just add to what Pradhan sir just said, that this could become an election issue only if the opposition wants. Like I'll tell you, it's only Pallavi Patel who went to this the agitation that was happening at Eco Garden in Lucknow. She was the only opposition leader who went to meet these agitating students, especially the UP Police Constable recruitment exam students who were agitating for re-exam. So think of it, only Pallavi Patel was the only opposition leader who went on ground to kind of meet these students. She gave a brief speech also there. She said that she's standing with them and she'll raise their issue. So there was no other leader. Akhilesh Yadav is in Lucknow only. Like even if he's going around, he comes back to Lucknow. He could have just gone there for 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
That would have kind of mobilized the crowd there. But I don't see any senior opposition leader taking up the issue. Think of it on the BJP point of view. Had BJP been in the opposition in the state, they would have made it the national issue, or the worldwide issue. The unemployment in Uttar Pradesh would have become the worldwide issue right now. So I think this is a big issue. It's simmering on the ground. But then I have my own apprehensions about this thing turning into translating into vote. Because there is no party, neither the Samajwadi Party nor the Congress, nor forget about BSP, trying to tap onto this entire students movement and take it any further. So I really don't think this angst or this mobilization. I think this will slowly fizzle out, and it will be kind of taken over with other issues that we'll see in future. So no, the clear cut answer is no. I don't think this entire thing is going to affect the current dispensation, the BJP government in this state in the longer run. It will not hurt them hard, is what I'll say.
In fact, Aditya,
unless the opposition takes it up.
yeah, so I
Yeah.
just want to point that out, right? So Rahul Gandhi has made a statement on Twitter or X with regard to the exam paper leak. And he's basically said selling job creation institutes to their friends and hiring youth on contract is Modi's policy, exploiting Modi's guarantee. He has said history will never forgive. Modi government has eclipsed the dreams of students. So it's not really a coherent take on. And I think that for the young people on the ground who are actually protesting against the exam paper leaks, asking for jobs, there was a visual that went viral of the platform in, I think it was Kanpur, where a lot of young people had gathered very early in the morning to take the train to the police, UP police selections.
Right.
Just it was an illustration of the kind of numbers we're talking about. Really, for them at the voting booth, it's going to be, okay, so I've not got a job under the BJP regime. Will I get a job under the opposition regime? Is that more likely? And I'm not sure if that answer will be in the favor of the Congress party, because at the end of the day, are people more confident that they will get jobs, they will get progress from the BJP? Or do they think that that is possible from the Congress party? Mr. Pradhan?
I'll just sorry.
Yeah, Piyush.
Anini, go ahead, Piyush. After that,
I'll just like to add one more line here, which I just recall, is the day after the government accepted that there were the paper leak happened, and they have to kind of call off or cancel the paper. So the half an hour later, we were bombarded with press releases from the government saying this, that Yogi Adityanath, CM Yogi Adityanath has taken cognizance of the plight of the students, and he has ordered a re-exam 6 months later, and the entire Twitter trend was on how the entire government is in favor of youth, and no other government would have taken cognizance of the entire protest, and this is the only government which has done so far. So obviously some lies, some truth, and the entire narrative of what the government wanted started floating before the opposition could kind of pick up a storm on this and make it an election issue, which is obviously a big deal as of now. So this is where the current scenario is, like before the opposition thinks of making a narrative out of a problem, or an issue, the government is already there in the damage control mode, and it is successfully quelling all the narrative which could have later gone to become a election narrative. So the government is very mindful and watchful of what is happening. I'll say that here the opposition is a bit lazy when it comes to picking up these issues and making a narrative out of it. And before the opposition can do it, the government always butts in to make sure that the entire protest or agitation that is happening, it, even if it continues for a week or so, is quietly quelled, and everything dies down. So the government has been very easily managing it just because of the opposition.
This is what I find
Very
fascinating.
true.
We've been talking, Mr. Pradhan, Aditya and
Yeah.
I've been talking for months about how this election, in the Lok Sabha election, is a foregone conclusion for Mr. Modi and his government to come back for a third term. But it is the opposition that is being lazy and not the BJP. Every time we wake up in the morning and pick up our newspapers, the BJP is doing more. It's making sure it's quelling every sort of, idea that comes up. It's handling all the issues on the ground. But I don't understand what business the opposition has to be lazy at all here. In fact, look, it's an April-May election, or a March-April election. We don't know the dates yet. We're at the end of February right now, and I don't see a coherent idea from the India bloc. I don't see a coherent idea from the Congress party. It doesn't even feel like they're in election mode. Rahul Gandhi is still on his Bharat Jodo 2, which is a bit of a failure, if you ask me. I don't understand what the opposition is doing, Mr. Pradhan.
Well, call them lazy is an understatement. I think there is the kind of adjectives I'd like to use for them.
Gosh,
But yes, it is very clear that they've become a set of nincompoops. They are not in election mode at all. It's not. Then Rahul Gandhi finds the visit or whatever he is doing in Cambridge on a day when there is crisis in on Himachal. Rahul Gandhi doesn't have the time to attend to he's suspended his own rally to go to Cambridge. I don't know what was the earth-shaking thing happening, or is there some election there where he has to contest, or I don't know what. But they have really, either they have all given up, they are just contesting for the sake of contest. And I don't, then why do they have to take up anything, whether it is election bonds, these electoral bonds or whatever? If you are not in a mood to contest, then let these fellows get 400 or whatever and run amok, which they will. Because, and when you are an opposition, there are repeated onslaughts on the opposition. Agencies like ED and CBI are out to, they have already turned into departments of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So, and all the rogues in this country belong to the opposition. BJP is full of saints. So that is the kind of atmosphere they are building. That is the narrative they are building, and they are allowed to do it because there is nobody to counter it. And thanks to the mainstream media, we must not ignore that. And if all these narratives are being, like, as Piyush rightly pointed out, within minutes, they were into it. The UP government, Yogi Adityanath in particular, likes to copy script by script, likes to copy Modi's script by script. So here, their own PR machinery, which is huge, and the Ernst and Young is also working for them, and they have hired some journalists who are paid from I don't know from what sources to carry out, to write press releases for them, to issue tweets for them. There's a full team there. So the moment anything happens, the social media is bombarded with
Yeah.
whatever they want, and there's nobody to counter it. For
Yeah,
all you know, the opposition. Yeah, sorry.
sorry.
I,
And I'll bring
I,
Aditya here. In fact, Aditya, the largest blows that have been dealt to the BJP campaign, if any, have come from the Supreme Court, because it was the Supreme Court's electoral bond judgment. We had a very interesting judgment about Patanjali yesterday, where the Supreme Court actually pulled up the government
Yeah,
of India, saying, "Why are you sitting quietly? Why aren't you doing anything when this company, which has obviously seen as close to the BJP, has been taking
very
the
very
country?"
close.
So the Supreme Court, even the mayoral polls in Chandigarh, that whole business
Chandigarh.
of
Yeah.
yeah, the tampering of votes. Again, it was the Supreme Court who stood up. So the opposition not really in a position to contest anymore, Aditya, except Mamta Banerjee, who recently said that I'm fighting, I'm confident.
but yeah, even Mamta Banerjee is facing a lot of flack on the Sandesh Khali incident. So I think even she's on the back foot. The Aam Aadmi Party is also constantly under siege in different ways. So yeah, different opposition parties are struggling. We might have a few defections from the Thakre's Shiv Sena as well, if one goes by reports. So literally no party, probably with the exception of the DMK, in the India alliance, is safe currently. I think another party, of course, who is sort of giving it back to the NDA is the RJD and Tejasvi Yadav. I think the way
Yeah.
Tejasvi managed the entire Nitish Kumar's switch, and how turned it against Nitish Kumar in that one speech that has now gone viral, I think is a lesson for Rahul Gandhi, for Akhilesh Yadav, and other opposition leaders. The Aam Aadmi Party too is trying in its own way to. It has already declared about half of its candidates, and it is trying to like take the offensive to the BJP. I actually wanted to ask both Mr. Pradhan and Piyush something which Piyush mentioned as a off the cuff kind of a remark on. He said, "Forget the BSP." Now, in the BSP, we have seen Guddu Jamali joining the Samajwadi Party, Ritesh Pandey joining the BJP. Where is the BSP in all this?
Mm.
Is it even in the race? Is it even fighting this election? Or it's just content getting whatever vote share it gets and not making any impact in terms of seats?
Well, if I do I
Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Pradhan, and then
Yes,
I'll
yes,
ask.
sir.
well, as my reading of the BSP is, it is very safely standing behind Narendra Modi. And BSP, it's not today, it's past 2.5 years. Mayawati's behavior has amply demonstrated how much she is guided by the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, because her most of her tweets and statements have been directed towards benefiting the BJP. Her attacks have been more virulent against the Congress and Samajwadi Party than as compared to the BJP. Sometimes, for formality's sake, she may say a few things against the Bharatiya Janata Party, but otherwise, she has made it very evident, and it is within her in her own stock. They also started talking about it, and that is the good reason why her stock fell from 20%, 21% to 12% in the last Vidhan Sabha elections. And everybody believes and is convinced that it is bound to go further down, because she is not seen anywhere on ground. She is kind of, the only election time she surfaces for other reasons, because hers is a party which is openly known to be openly selling tickets. So, if you are selling in the market, you are selling something, you have to put your wares and give the impression that you are in the game. But now, with the kind of desertions that it is facing, and people are leaving, because everybody knows that there was a time when Mayawati could easily demand any price for a ticket, and the people would shell out because they would know they were going to win in the name of non-entities, political, completely political non-entities would come and buy tickets, and they would win because it was Mayawati. But today, Mayawati has lost that kind of the cloud that she enjoyed once upon a time. in a party which was built with the a lot of sweat of her mentor Kanshi Ram, and she got it on a platter. And today, for I mean, it is widely believed and it's alleged that it is because of the fear of ED and CBI that she has surrendered before the Bharatiya Janata Party. And one would believe because the CBI sword has been hanging over her and her family for a long time, and the kind of wealth she has, it is not as if others don't have a lot of untold, ill-gotten wealth. It's not She's not the only one, but at the moment, it is very evident that she is guided by the by the BJP, and she is under pressure from Modi or Amit Shah. One more thing I would like to point out, the natural question I'm sure Aditya would want to know: how did she manage to get 10 seats? Everybody talks about it. It's because of that alliance was a non-starter. That alliance, Mayawati used full steam only to get advantage of the Samajwadi Party vote, which was conveniently transferred and willingly transferred by Akhilesh to their party. But Mayawati ensured that her vote doesn't get transferred to SP, and she did it. The moment the election was over, she gave Samajwadi Party a kick and said it that she wanted to teach them a lesson for what Mulayam had done to her way back in the mid 90s, what is widely known as infamous as the guest house episode. So that was not an alliance. It was, and today, whatever she had gained, it and Akhilesh fell down from 10 to 5, and she from 0 to 10. So and this election will further going to further diminish the party. I don't know to what level, but whatever she can at the moment, I think the BJP's design is to use Bahujan Samaj Party and Mayawati to divide the opposition vote, and you will find in this elect very soon that she'll field a lot of Muslim candidates in pockets where there is Muslim dominance, so that she can weaken the opposition vote.
Piyush, what is happening with Mayawati and her party?
So when I entered Uttar Pradesh for the reporting scene way back in 2015, so this was a very common saying that never predict anything about Mayawati because she'll throw up a surprise, and you'll not know about it. But then somehow I'll again stick my neck out and say that the way she has sabotaged election for the opposition last time, I'm sure she'll be up to something of the similar or the similar lines this time again, because that's the common that's the word on the ground that she'll be fielding Muslim candidates in almost all the pockets where opposition, especially Samajwadi Party and Congress, could get hold. Like think of a seat like Muradabad, where SP and Congress alliance can think of winning the seat. But then what if some BSP goes on to field a Muslim candidate there? So again, she'll continue to play that sabotage game here for the opposition again. And the one thing that I really like about BSP is that they have kept everyone guessing. Like whenever you say that the party is down and out, she'll plan a press conference and say something about the ruling party, and everybody will again start guessing that there is something that's coming. Again, when you think that this party is completely out, she'll kind of elevate Akash Anand to a different position, and again we'll start writing about how BSP is going to reform and revive the entire party. How a young face like Akash Anand has come and he'll try to revive the entire cadre. But then over time and again, this is falling into a pattern, and now for the first time I can see that the BSP voters are now alienating from the party, because that's a very common saying that एक बार मायावती एक बार वो अगर कह देती है रैली से तो उनका कैडर वही करता है, and there is no if, there is no but. But now for the first time they are defying that order, they're defying that line of order, and this can be seen from obviously the MPs and the senior leaders moving away from the party. Ambedkar Nagar se we saw Ritesh Pandey.
Moved.
Sorry, sir.
4 MPs have already moved. Sorry for interrupting.
Four MPs have already moved. Ritesh Pandey from Ambedkar Nagar has already moved. He was young in terms of other lead as compared to other leaders, young, talented, and he had that aura on the ground. He could have been a very valuable like asset for the party, had the party thought of contesting or building up from what it had. But now, down and out, this party would not be a force to reckon with in upcoming election. This is what the message is on the ground, and that's why especially all the top leaders are deserting the party. And the current tally stands at 4, and this is bound to increase in like a week or so. A lot of other senior leaders are already in touch with other parties, and they would soon be leaving the party unless something major comes up from the Mayawati, and they stick together as a flock and and contest as the party they used to. But I don't see that happening in near future. That's
We've
that
Very
seen
that's the
true.
also,
reading.
so we've seen also Rahul Gandhi make a lot of appeals on the caste front, right? So one of the things that he said is that they will remove that 50% cap. He's a lot of the speeches that he's making is appealing to people on caste basis not to vote for the BJP. Is there anything to be read in that, Aditya?
Uh, See, I think Rahul Gandhi appeal on the caste front has not really worked so far. They tried it in Punjab by making a Dalit chief minister. It didn't work beyond a point because there was no such demand on the ground for a Dalit chief minister in Punjab. So it's a little unlikely that Rahul Gandhi's efforts on that front would bear fruit. It's also, I think, it's also everything that Rahul Gandhi does. Unfortunately, is extremely half-hearted. Even the manner in which he raised the paper leak issue, again, it
Mm.
didn't seem very convincing because it was just a one-off. It's like a photo op, just one
Exactly.
one gesture aimed at one viral video or just one tweet that will get a lot of traction. Beyond that, it really didn't amount to anything. I think the way Tejasvi said brought this entire 10 lakh jobs. The 1 week into government we'll bring 10 lakh jobs, and when they did come get into power, when Nitish Kumar changed sides, that they did deliver that to some extent. And now Tejasvi is going about marketing that look what we achieved in those 18 months. So that's how I think an issue needs to be pushed. I think neither Rahul Gandhi nor Akhilesh Yadav seem to have that kind of conviction.
Very
I
true.
wanted to ask, in fact, all three of you, do you think Priyanka Gandhi will contest from Rae Bareli?
That's a very good question. Very good question. But Priyanka Gandhi again, I used to be quite convinced and very impressed by her. I have watched her from the time she was coming as a kid, and later on she as a political leader, as the heir apparent of her mother. But let me tell you, I was really impressed. She had the spontaneity. She was quick to react. She would gel with the masses, just like her father, whom I had covered extensively in those days. So, but the point is, she has actually turned into it's become like a political tourism, as she was accused of by the NDA leaders, and she actually turned into that. And as a matter of fact, when in the last election, when she came in, it was for a short duration, but she did an excellent job going down to the grassroots level and really making waves. मैं लड़की हूं और you remember that slogan, लड़की हूं और लड़ूंगी लड़ने के लिए आए.
लड़
Now
सकती हूँ.
you after that लड़ सकती हूँ, sorry. And after that she came here. I remember there was a meet the press with her, and I asked her that you said that you were going to start camping in Lucknow and work on ground zero. She said, "No, no, no. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. But I'm just going to US to put my daughter in a college, and I'm coming and I'm going to stay put." She has not shown up after that. So this kind of now I am convinced that she's all about political tourism. So how much of it, and BJP will move heaven and earth to see that she loses in Rae Bareli. So I don't know what's going to, but there is a likelihood that she would be fielded from there, and
Mm. Oh.
how it pans out ultimately,
Okay, so
because
you were
the
saying she's likely to contest, but she's unlikely to win. That's what
you're
you're saying.
unlikely to win, because this is not the way to win. You just come at the last minute and you think that just because you are Priyanka Gandhi, you can you can just turn the crowds. I don't think that era is over. She was once upon a time. People had so much, and people believed that she would actually come here and she is for the. But I think she has some serious problem as far as a commitment uh, to to politics is concerned. So both of them, I mean, one fellow goes to Cambridge, this one goes and keeps coming, zooming in and out only at the time of election. What can you expect from that? That is the tragedy of the Congress. And it also lacks is organization. And I have not seen in the last so many years any effort on the part of the Congress leadership to revive the its organization in UP. They keep changing the presidents, the state presidents. That's about all, and they have their own whims and fancies, and they are more, I think, concerned about worshipping the heroes and, or I should say, heroines, and not do anything on ground. They are only hoping that something, some magic will happen, and God will shower all his goodies to them, and they'll get up. There is no effort on the part of the Congress to do
Piyush,
anything here.
Piyush, same question. Is Priyanka Gandhi likely to contest? Because for what I read, the Congress is unlikely to leave that seat open for the taking for the BJP. They're going to send someone, but is it likely to be Priyanka Gandhi?
There are chatter that she'll be contesting from there, but I've seen I'll not say bad, but very strange choices from the Congress when it comes to the organization, and especially like Priyanka Gandhi, because she was the organizational secretary here a couple of years back. She was doing good, like she was making her efforts to revive the organization at so many levels. But then suddenly she was taken off from the entire state, and she hasn't made any personal visits to either Lucknow or to any other place in Uttar Pradesh in personal capacity. So, and which she was doing like a couple of years back, and she
Yeah,
was very active. So that's why there are a lot of chatter that she might contest from Varanasi also in earlier elections. And now that she'll be contesting from Rae Bareli, but the kind of strange choices, be it the state presidents, we saw Brijlal Khabri, we saw Ajay Lallu, and now we see Ajay Rai. So all these three people, and now Priyanka Gandhi out of the picture suddenly, and now again the chatter that she would contest from Rae Bareli. I'm not very convinced that this might happen, but I'm convinced that someone from the Gandhi family would contest from Rae Bareli. That goes without saying. There is no rocket science behind it. But then I'll just wait for it and see for myself what happens from the Rae Bareli seat. But then at the end of the day, yes, someone from the family would be contesting.
she lacks consistency. That is the whole problem, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And the worst part is that her game plan regarding Uttar Pradesh has not been very clear, because for like in the initial couple of years in 2019-20, it was that she was making regular visits to Uttar Pradesh. She was
Yeah,
participating in things. She was basically going on spots at various incidents. Be it custodial torture or be it farmer protest. She was there meeting victims of the CA rights also. So all these things were happening, and suddenly when she's taken off the picture and without any game plan or without anyone else taking her position, I don't know, like the entire picture becomes very uncertain. And as of now, like I don't see any clarity that she will be even contesting from
yeah,
Rae Bareli or not,
very
because.
true.
Uh, one thing which I differ is that Rae Bareli, like Sonia Gandhi, she didn't do anything much of substance either, but then she anyhow managed to win it.
Mm.
That has
Very
been
true.
their home seat, and anyone from the party coming there, though it might get difficult
Not
this
from
time, but
today.
obviously will.
It's been their seat since Firoz Ghani's time.
Yeah, so it has been easy seat for them. Anyone
Yeah,
from the Gandhi family can come and win. And even last time also in 2019 when Sonia Gandhi contested, I'm sure like she didn't do much of legwork, like someone like
Wasn't that
Smriti.
true of Amethi until Smriti Irani won that seat?
Sorry, can
Wasn't that
you repeat the question?
wasn't that true of Amethi as well until
true.
Rahul Gandhi lost that seat, everybody felt that this is a Congress seat. It's fairly easy for someone from the Gandhi family to just come and win it. But apparently that's no longer true.
Yeah, also this is because this was the first time BJP fielded a very senior and a formidable person as the opposition, right? Like if you look at the opposition in the Rae Bareli seat and at the Amethi seat before prior to Smriti Irani, they were all basically walkover candidates that opposition used to field. So it's basically like what happens in Manpuri, like BJP would also like in just to in tribute to Mulayam Singh Yadav, they might field weaker candidates so that they easily win there. So that has been happening on Amethi and Rae Bareli seats, and that has been a walkover seat for the Congress. So it after Smriti Irani came, the entire picture changed in Amethi, but that didn't happen in Rae Bareli. So now this time there is a rumor that Manoj Pandey, who just deserted Samajwadi Party, might contest from Rae Bareli seat. So if Manoj Pandey comes in the picture, again, like this, I'm not saying that he's of the same caliber as Smriti Irani, but then he'd make it a contest at least. So there was no contest earlier on those seats, is what I believe.
Also,
It
the
was not
Akhilesh
just
Singh,
Smriti Irani, it was the whole Bharatiya Janata Party, and which to counter which the Congress did not have the wherewithal. And even Rahul Gandhi at that point of time was not giving enough time to Amethi as he should have. And that is going to be the tragedy in could be a tragedy in Rae Bareli as well. Because because the problem is that Congress, if you are not visible on ground, you just can't just walk in. Fine, there'll be a lot of support for you, but it'll be going to be a tough call, and the Gandhi family would not want to take risks once again. And even I'll let they don't, but unfortunately they don't have a fighting spirit. After losing, if Rahul Gandhi had continued his contact with Amethi,
We seem to have a lot of disconnection. Aditya, you wanted to say something?
have
Go
that
ahead.
kind of and Smriti Irani has done a lot of things to annoy the people of Amethi. A couple of things have happened there, but there's nobody to take mileage out of that. There's nobody to encash on that.
Mm.
also the Akhilesh Singh family, who really was a bulwark of support for the Congress in Rae Bareli, is now with the BJP. So that is another thing that the Congress will find it
I
difficult.
don't think I don't think there was so much of a support by this fellow Manoj Pandey. It's being blown out of proportion today systematically by the BJP. But fact remains that the Gandhi family did have tremendous clout in Amethi, and it was not a, it is the what Piyush mentioned that they would put up a weak candidate. It's not that, because they put up a weak candidate because they knew that they have no scope to win, so they just put up a candidate for formality, which is what all political parties do. You never find a big leader contesting against another rival of the party. Smriti Irani, they tried and it worked
Okay.
because the party had already become weak there. And the
Okay.
same thing could happen in Rae Bareli. Of course, Manoj Pandey is would not be a match to Priyanka Gandhi. But you still don't know, and well, the elections round the corner. No, nobody knows what is happening in the within the Congress.
All right.
But
Aditya,
there
I'll
is
give you the
one
last
thing,
word.
Faye, I would like to point out. I
Yes.
I have, and a lot of people have this suspicion that for whatever is the ways Priyanka has been taken away, as Piyush rightly, the word taken away is very important. Also shows that there is somewhere within the this is love for the son, putra prem. It could be
But
that.
but they say Italian mothers and Indian mothers are very similar in that
Are
one
very
aspect.
similar. I am also told that.
I'll give the last word to Aditya Menon. Aditya, we're running out of time, but very quickly, your take on what we're expecting to see in the week that will come before we meet again next Wednesday.
I think the most immediate crisis is Himachal Pradesh. The Congress's firefighters, Mr. Hooda and Mr. Shiv Kumar, really have a task at hand. So we have to watch out for that state. And we have to watch out for all the alliance discussions in the India bloc. I think many of the alliances might enter a stage of finalization. And most importantly, we should watch out for the election commission, which may announce the dates for polling maybe in the next week or 10 days or so.
All right, the polling days, and that's going to be really, really interesting. We're going to leave it here. I want to thank our audience for joining us. Mr. Pradhan, Piyush Rae, Aditya Menon, always a pleasure to sit down and chat with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be your.
Looking forward to many more chats before the election. Thank you.
Yeah, same here.